After all the talking and all the hype, the new league on the block finally gets ready to get underway for round one. Welcome along to the ERC, better known as the E-Racing Championship, which pits 10 of some of the best league racing teams going head to head for the opportunity to be crowned the inaugural ERC champion. And talking to you about who is joining you in the combox for this season. My name, for those of you who don't know, is Nuthead, aka Jack. Pleasure to bring you all the action from start to finish. Alongside me is a man that's had a little while outside of league racing but is now back today. I am joined by Mr. XHorm HD, aka Josh. Josh, pleasure to have you as always. What a thrilling prospect we have for this season.
I'm looking forward to it, my friend. It is going to be an incredible season. I mean, that's all we can say, isn't it? Like 20 guys, all who we know, could win a race. You can't ask for much more, can you?
So yes, we're now getting ready to get underway for the first round here in Australia, and whilst we have just a few moments, we'll talk to you about the teams being represented for this season, and we'll start at the very top, work our way down. We have a list which is in no real particular order, but of course you have to follow on as we go along. We'll start off with the team that we've called Livid Racing Silver, because they haven't really differentiated. We have two different racing teams. We start off with the Silver Arrows. They have been represented this round by DOR Ginger Ninja, who is URL Season 5 champion, alongside LR Hassler as well, with a reserve driver for them being Danny F1. Of course, in the ERC, we feature two full-time drivers and one reserve, so there'll be 3 drivers per team. And moving swiftly along towards the other side of Livid Racing, we'll go straight to the racing points. The Livid Racing Pink, we are nicknaming them. They are currently represented by Future Rydog and VG Redemption. The reserve driver who is actually here today, one of the only reserve drivers on the grid, LR Blazer Guns for that respective team. Moving swiftly along towards the next esports team, we have Team LCR being represented by 2 rather big names in league racing. Mac212YT first and foremost, alongside the Frenchman of LK, and the reserve driver for them is LCR Hayden. Moving swiftly along towards one of the favourites to definitely win this league, VSR, the Red Bull team, go up with a very strong team of VSR and Famous and the Canadian of VSR. Dralex both ironically have VSR in their name. And the final team that I'll be presenting for you is the McLaren team, Bossman Gaming, being represented by Logic Gamer and I Am Hybrid, with the reserve of Luca as well. And of course, both mentioned about Red Bull reserve driver VSR top Tom, because I did forget him. But Josh, you're not going to forget any drivers. Who's in the bottom 5 teams?
Oh, I'm going to try my hardest not to. So starting off, we have Tech 10 in the Renault, with their 2 main drivers being Amaze and Allrounder, with the reserve of Jolly. And then moving on, we have Team Mentalism with Hamilton and Jack, who is formerly known as Dragon Pro, which you may know. And then with their reserve of Christo or Christo, we're not 100% certain on his name, but we'll work it out throughout the season. And then we have another team who is looking to be very, very promising and a potential challenger, and that is AMS. We have Critchley, Smithson in the first 2 seats, and then their reserve of Dasher, who I think is probably one of the best sort of reserves that every team's got. Moving on, Sync Motorsport, we have Sync John and Sync Jinx, who used to be Sync Bottas, which we recently discovered. And if anyone remembers that name, Bottas was a very, very quick driver. And then their reserve of being Eek, again, one of them iffy ones. And then going on, the final team, who I'm going to say is my favourite for this entire league, is going to be Shazoo in the Williams, with Leopard and KJ, and then their reserve being Schwiz.
Yeah, well, that's all the teams for you. Of course, we'll keep you updated as to who is where with regards to this. But of course, the first round of the season is iconically the round that is pretty much known as a staple of the beginning of the Formula 1 calendar. Australia, Melbourne, we're ready for the Albert Park circuit, and currently the drivers getting them first up on the board. VSR and Famous, miles at the front, 19.9 for him. Then comes the German of I Am Hybrid, done a good lap with a 20.4 for Bossman Game, and Jax YT gets a P3 20.5. Then comes the first of the 2 Sync Boys, 20.5 as well for Sync John, and currently a 1.5 for the Red Bulls as well. Good start for VSR. In fact, my favourite pick to win the tournament, Josh Shazoo. We've got VSR. Let's see who's going to come out right in the end. Dralex sits 5th, and Jinx just behind him, 3 turns back in 6th. As a car off, that was one of the racing points in the Livid Racing Pink team. It is actually Blazer Guns, the reserve, not having a good start to the season. Meanwhile, the front of the 2 Team LCR lads, Mac212 is 8th on a 22.2. And 22.3, and interestingly, Critchley out on the mediums, 21.9, Josh. Now, of course, Australia, a track that's famed for a pretty easy strategy on F1 2019, soft to medium, but will we see the teams possibly work together in the early stage? Of course, it's a team competition, it's not a solo competition. Will we see potentially one of their drivers go onto the mediums in qualifying and try and sort of split the strategies to not sort of well, I suppose you could say, block each other off?
I think at the start of the season, definitely. I think it's going to be very, a lot of the drivers are going to be trying to get that first spot because, 7 races down the line, we don't know the point situation. Maybe a certain driver is going to be higher up in the overall standings and is going to want priority. So there's a lot to prove for the guys today. And with the strategies, again, a lot of them have gone for the softs. We've got, I think, 3 runners on the hards, 1 on the medium so far. Obviously, we've still got time left in quali for that to change. Maybe just testing out their pace, seeing where it'll put them in the field. Because ultimately, you probably want to be at the front in a race like this.
Well, 20 drivers not make it easy, but there's the first lap time from your favourites. Jesus Leopard goes top of the charts, 19.4, again half a second clear of Infamous's first attempt. He'll feel satisfied with that, but his teammate is now round towards the line as well. For KJ Gamer, he comes up and he makes it a 1.7, 20.8 for the Williams driver. Now, I should mention, there has been a brief issue with the telemetry and the screens that you can see. For some reason, Josh, you're representing Tech 10 today.
I have seen that,
yes.
yes.
HD is in 19th, but it should actually be all-rounder in that seat. So it is actually all-rounder driver. Josh is not driving and commentating, which would be a very good achievement. But just keep in mind that whenever we say XForm HD, if we do miss it, of course, we do actually mean that's all-rounder setting a lap time, Josh. Well done for being undercover for this round. Good to see you continuing on the league racing after an absence as well. Looking into the chat, plenty of drivers out there giving their support. Ethan Peaty supporting on, of course, Team LCR. Let's Go Livett is Dan the Absolute Man. We've got Goad Mentors and Vamanos to BMG as well, alongside KJ. Also the DRS fade on that first lap, which is not an ideal start for him. Nice to see already issues going on for some of the drivers. But we've got drivers of all sorts of unique paces, really, all sorts of different driving styles as well. Josh, is there anyone in particular that you're looking out to potentially, produce them exciting moves in the first rounds? Any particular sort of hard grafters, shall we say?
Someone I've commented on before, and I'm going to say Dralex. I think I'm going to keep an eye out for him, but there's so many others. Matt 212, obviously. Smithson, there's a couple of others I'm not too sure about and haven't seen, race before who could end up surprising me. Who else have we got? We've got LK in the Ferrari there. Actually, that's quite a good team, actually. Matt 212 and LK. Only just sort of briefed my mind there. There's just so many good teams, Jack. I don't know what to say. You're just going through this list and you're looking at everyone and you're like, you're going to do well, you're going to do well, you're going to do well. You just can't pinpoint exactly. I mean, I'm going to throw that question to you, actually, as well. Who is going to be your sort of favourites and who's going to stand out more?
Well, I have to say, from drivers that I've seen in action, Maze is not afraid to go for a move. Infamous is always someone to watch out for, especially though I'm Hybrid can produce a really good potential shock result for BMG. So, like you said, there's so many drivers on this grid that we'd love to go through all of them to say this is exactly the driver we expect to win. But the fact of the matter is, all 20 of them, in my opinion, have a case to admit that they have a big chance of winning here at Australia to begin the season. And let's face it, to grab the race victory for your team in the first round, Josh, will just be the ideal way to set things. It really sets a tone for the season. Says, right, we're here to immediately stamp our authority for the season. And you don't want to go too long about getting that first point either, because without that, you sort of prolong yourself and, it does become a very torrid season. So it's crucial to get a good start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you come out winning, especially, could you imagine if we get a 1-2? Let's just say Shizou come out first and second. That is going to put sort of a big target on their backs for the rest of this, because they're going to, come out straight away. It could be any team and just be like, look, we are going to just own this. This is ours for the taking. And obviously, actually an incident on track with myself, or otherwise known as all-rounder, has just spun it just out of turn 9, turn 10. So that's a shame for me. I'm too busy on the com box. What can I say? I've got to focus on track and keep my eyes on the road.
That's not ideal, really, is it, when you're dropping it like that, when you're trying to commentate at the same time? Meanwhile, Sync John put a good lap time in there for Sync Motorsport in the Alfa Romeo, went P2, 20.470, only 200s clear of High 100, so there's a bit of a battle going on between Sync John down to Jax YT, less than half a tenth between those three at the moment, so nothing to split them. Meanwhile, simultaneously, Infamous out on his second lap time, Josh, and he's coming up towards you as he enters the pits, now round towards the final corner, getting that nicely on the exit of it, now down towards the line, DRS wide open for the Red Bull driver, and it's a 19.8. It's not enough to challenge Leopard, but it's that one step closer, and he's slowly getting closer to Shazoo Leopard, but still, at the moment, it's fairly comfortable for the Williams driver.
It's quite a big gap, isn't there? I have just realised from Leopard to Infamous, it's 3.5 tenths, but then going back from second to third, well, first to third, I should say, it is currently sitting at a second, but all his drivers can still get in another run, maybe even two, depends if they really want to try. Looking around, Amaze is currently on a lap time, just in sector 3 now, up by 5 tenths, which could put them in third if they carry on, or if they can make some extra time up in this last couple of corners. Could be going for second, or maybe even going for pole position. So we stick on board with the Renault driver here, representing Tech 10, coming up to the final corner now. See what he can do. DRS is open, coming up to the line. It is going to be a 1:20.4. Wow. So he goes third, only just. Sync John and Amaze, they are borderline, together there. That is, incredible to see. I mean, so many of these guys, looking from Amaze to Sync to Hybrid to Jack, all it is just, an extra, I was going to say an extra second. It's not even that. It's a millisecond nearly between half of them.
Yeah, Amos Critchley, good up time for the Welshman there. 20.7 to go P7 at the back of the little train. Meanwhile, Leopard's teammate KJ, the other side of Shazoo, are currently on lap time. He was half a second up to hit the second split. Don't know if he can validate that 12 and 13, which is a very easy thing to do. It's very easy to go back a little bit too much when you're full throttling pretty much through that section. It used to be one of the most tightest sections on the track. Now feels like a breeze when you get it right. Up to the line comes KJ. He's going to go P3, 19.9. And that 1-2 you're on about, Josh, he's not looking far away.
We're getting there, aren't we? We are getting there. I shouldn't say that. It sounds like I'm biased. I'm not. I have no, nothing to do with Shazoo whatsoever. It's just my favourites, and yeah, we're not going to be biased, are we? Still just looking around. The only people not to. What's he doing?
Josh,
he is up. He is up.
Leopard up towards the line, and it's going to be a 19.3. And that is absolutely insane stuff from the Williams. And that's now just under half a second, clear of Infamous behind. And Infamous has got to watch behind as well, because KJ might find more time at the moment. But so far, those three are the only three to get into the 19s at the moment. Matt 212, 20.3, good lap time for Team LCR, getting to the one of the second row, but still a good 4 or 5 tenths off of the top three. They look untouchable at the moment.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they? Again, still got, just hit under 5 minutes, and what I was going to say, still got 2 people who haven't done a lap, including myself, or all-rounder as we should say. We're never going to get bored of that already with this race. And then with the Force India laser guns as well. But then you've got G Ninja down there, 6 seconds off the pace. I'm guessing that isn't his lap time. He is actually up. I've just seen, about to finish. It was about 2 seconds up, I believe. But maybe it was out of this final corner. He did lose a lot of his time. So we see where his new time, and hopefully more accurate one, will place him. Is he coming up to the line now? He does go up to 16th, so he does improve, and he's not near the back, which does put the 2 Mercedes 15th and 16th.
Good lap time there from Hybrid. He gets himself and beats Matt, 20.2. Now, the only guy on a 20.2 at the moment, just 9 hundredths of 9 thousandths clear of Matt 212 behind, so he'll feel satisfied for that with Bossman Gaming. His teammate coming down in 13th, but there's not really a lot to split them, only 7 tenths. And there is 9 cars between them at the moment, so absolutely nothing to split them so far. Meanwhile, simultaneously, Sync John come around the first couple of corners on what could be one of his final laps for Sync Motorsport. In fact, I think he's taking it fairly easily. I don't think he is. He might be going for it actually here. Up towards the first sector, he's down by 6 tenths. Definitely not pushing it on that one. But we're coming towards the end of the session. Just 3.5 minutes left to go. And so far, there's still a few drivers to get some lap times on the board. You don't expect to see Logic Gamers, Sync James, don't see him so far down, Smithson as well. The pressure's on them guys because, the top field is just so compact that one mistake could be mapped between 4th and 15th. It's insane.
It's a big difference, that, isn't it? In something like this, if, I'm going to pick Hybrid, for example, just because I'm on board with him now. I know he's on a lap, but I think he is down. But if he just doesn't put a string together, something happens and he just drops through, maybe he wants to start in the top 10 because of his strategy. But then if he's all the way down in 16th, is he going to try and change it about what we should say? Everyone is on the soft tyre. So no one's decided to quali on, the mediums or the hards or, you know, whatever they choose. Obviously, you know, when qualifying is over, maybe the guys who are, you know, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 going on maybe decide to go for a different strategy where they're further down in the grid. You know, strategy is going to be a big part, I feel like. I know I probably said that in the past quite a lot, but I feel like here it's just going to be key. You know, I don't know what your thoughts are on that are, Jack.
Well, yeah, it's a unique competition. It's nothing like what the drivers usually face in the prospect of, you know, they have to work it out as a driver alongside the fact they're also a teammate. But here it's all about teams. It's not actually about the drivers themselves. It's about these drivers representing their respective esports teams to try and grab a result. So it really is an interesting prospect for them, and they've got to manage it in a unique way. You know, you see the likes of Infamous and Dralix. Yes, they're 2nd and 10th. There's a big gap there, so they can kind of work it out. But Leopard and KJ, they're 1st and 3rd. They've got to really sort of nail it in terms of the strategy to get it bang on. So it really is such a unique prospect for them. But meanwhile, we're on towards the final couple laps. We've got just under 2 minutes to go. Infamous has got turns 1 and 2 not very well at all, and that might mean he has to scrap that lap time and go again if he wants another chance. There's cars everywhere, by the way, as we get ready towards the end of the session. Leopard's made his way out right at the end so far, but everyone else pretty much on lap times, Josh. And we get towards the end of the session, and we've got to see who's going to end up where. Amazed a bit deep there at turn 6. That's short of the end of the Tech 10 lads. The lap time so far is currently down in P6. Outlaps meanwhile out for KJ, Hybrid, Matt, Leopard, John, Critchley. They're all on outlaps, but a lot of people making their way out early, Josh. So maybe just banking on the fact that they get a second chance.
Yeah, I was just on board with Redemption in the racing point there for the second Livid team, or not second, we don't want to clarify that. Was 6 tenths up on his time, but did invalidate, so that would have put him going towards about P9. I've just seen a car on the gravel, I believe. Maybe that was just me, you know, seeing things, but you never know. But 45 seconds there, just had an improvement. Was that from Dro that was there? Yeah, up to 5th. Good lap from him.
20.2. Great lap time. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. But now we're waiting for the end of the session. We're still waiting to see if anyone's going to be able to sort of get their lap times on the board. Everyone's still taking a fair time. Blazer Guns is the first to decide enough is enough. XLM aka all-rounder is making it through towards 10 for. I'm still not going to let that go. We haven't actually seen lap time from Blazer Guns, so it will actually mean that if all-rounder can do a lap, he will start at least from P19. If not, then he will start from P20 at the moment. But we've got one final run for all of the drivers. Let's keep our eye on Leopard, because he can't towards the first sector split, and he's actually a 10th down on his lap time and is slowing, so it's not going to be any more lap time from the current pole sitter, so pressure is on him. His teammate KJ's 200s up towards the line. Smithson goes 10th, 20.5, and currently means it's 10-11 for both the AMSs. Quite nice and consistent. That Amaze retires, Drelix retires. Here comes Critchley, goes up to 7th. KJ can't improve. It's a 19.971, 200ths down from his previous lap. Go show how consistent he can be. Looking around the rest of the field, we've got Jax YT on towards
Matt
the second
2 on 2.
sector.
Oh, clipped the wall. Final corner, he was up in his time, but he's clipped the wall, which isn't going to do him any favours, and he ends up going down, doesn't improve.
Oh, will he ruin that mistake? It was 700s, which would have been enough to at least beat VSR Dralex ahead. Jackson YT got that turn 12 and 13. Beautiful, currently down in P10. XLM aka all-rounder, he goes P6 and beats his teammate, so it's the front out of the two Renaults for all-rounder at the moment. Here comes Infamous up towards the line. Will he take advantage of Leopard not getting a lap? No, he won't. It's a 19.6, and it's going to be P2 at the moment. What about further down? Bossman Gamer's Iron Hybrid up towards the line. Don't think he's going to improve. He is down and stays down. 20.4 for him. Up towards the line. Jax YT doesn't find any time and stays P11. Sink John is the final man in qualifying. 20.4 currently. Got himself up towards the front for Sinks Motorsport. Here comes the Alpha, and it's going to be P6 in the end, but it is in the end a dominant display. Leopard didn't even need to do that last lap. He is firmly on pole by just under 3 attempts, and it's a Williams 1-3. Josh, good start for your prediction.
It really is, and to be fair, very similar to yours. So we've got obviously, first and third with the Shazoo, and then second and fifth, the team of Red Bull being VSR. So in terms of our sort of predictions and the teams that we think are going to be up there, well, they're sort of proving their point, aren't they?
They are indeed. So we'll do the rundown of the grid as well. Looking at where regards teams are consistent, well, you've got to say Williams and Red Bull at the moment look to be the most consistent. Renault safely in the midfield as well. Of course, here in ERC we use standard point system, so it's only the top 10 that do score points But here is your grid, so I'll do a rundown of the grid. So it's Shazoo Leopard on pole position for Williams, with the Red Bull of VSR and Famous alongside him. But behind him is the rear gunner. KJ Gamer starts from P3 with I Am Hybrid, the German. Good job for Bossman Gaming, get himself P4. Dralex makes it 2-5 for the Red Bulls and VSR, with Sync John the leading Sync Motorsport driver. XMHD, aka All-Rounder, starts from 7th, with Matt 212 in 8th, and AMS Critchley rounding into P9, and ESR Maze rounds out the top 10. Outside the top 10, we have Jax YT for the Toro Rosso team, AMS Smithson, Momentum Hamilton making it 11th and 13th for Team Momentum, LK Logic Gamer, Sync Jinx, LR Hassler, and DOR Ginger Ninja make it 17th and 18th for the Livid Racing Silver, and for Livid Racing Pink, it's the back of the row with VG Redemption ahead of Blazer Guns. But here we are into the lobby for the race. Crystal clear skies, Josh, which means it's time for crystal clear racing for around about 28 laps of non-stop action. I'm excited. I'm pretty sure you are as well.
I'm absolutely looking forward to this. And you know what, Jack? It's that time. Who do you think is going to win?
That's a very good question. I think you can't look past Leopard. A really dominant display in qualifying, done 2 lap times worthy of pole position, and now has a brilliant position to try and grab the 25 points. What about yourself?
Well, I was going to say Leopard as well, but I feel like that's going to be a little bit... It's not what people are going to want to hear, us picking the same one. So you know what? I'm going to go for his teammate. Bit of rivalry in there. I'm going to go for KJ.
I like the idea of that. Both sides are Williams. It doesn't mean we're biased towards Shazoo. It just means that that's who we have him. Famous very much in the prospect, starting from P2. And the drivers behind us, of course, we've got Bossman Gaming's I Am Hybrid, potentially could do some damage. But we're now getting ready for the formation lap as Leopard leads the field. Well, we'll say that Infamous got a better launch than him on the practice go. Don't do it on the actual start, lad. That could mean disaster. And we wait for the final few drivers as well. And the big talking points, so far in this session, good display from Shazoo, good display from VSR. Any particular ones as well, sort of outsiders that you think have done well? I think Tech 10 have got to be up there, Josh, 7th and 10th respectively. Any other consistent teams across the board?
No, I think you pointed out, to be fair, the main one. I mean, I'm happy with 7th, to be fair. After that little incident I had in qualifying, I think 7th is a good spot to end up in. I'm trying to look about who else we've got. Obviously, yeah, we mentioned, Shazoo, and then we've got the 2 Red Bulls as well. What about the McLarens? They're quite split, aren't they? 4th and 15th. What I have realised as well, if you look towards the bottom of the field, both of the Livid teams are currently in the 20th, 19th, 18th and 17th spot. So not the day they would have wanted here at Australia. Compared to everyone else who's all jumbled up, they are, just down there. Maybe it's a part of a strategy.
It's a long off race. They're all on the medium, so as you can see that we have the time promotion because top 10 were all on softs. The only way you're really going to get inside the top 10 in this league was by going on the softs. And outside the top 10, look, Momentum Hamilton's on the medium, so they have split the strategies at Team Momentum. Then the Livid Racing teams have all gone with mediums. So Livid Racing Silver with Hassler ahead of Ginger Ninja, they're both on mediums. VG Redemption ahead of Blazer Guns in the Livid Racing Pink teams are on the mediums as well. But up towards the front, it's all the soft compound tyres. And the question is how well are these 2 Williams going to click? Leopard on pole, Infamous alongside him in P2 for Red Bull and VSR, making it 2-5 for them, with Bossman Gaming currently being the only team to interfere with this VSR and Shazoo rivalry we could have that could last all season long. The hype has been absolutely mega for this league, and now the drivers get ready to put all that hype onto a screen. We've got 20 drivers as LR Blazer Guns rounds out the field to make it 20 men to begin this long season that we have. 29 laps await them as well. We get ready for just 5 simple red lights, which mean the difference between going and stopping. Down to turn 1, who will have the advantage? And we get ready for 5 red lights. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And ERC Season 1 is off in Australia. It's a good start there from Leopard, not a good start towards VSR and Famous. Coming down towards turn 1, and on the outside goes KJ Gamer. The Leopard media going to cover him off, and round the outside goes KJ down towards turn 1. Can he take full march? Hybrid trying to go past him on the Bossman Gamer car, can't quite do it. Coming down to turn 2, down towards turn 3. Side by side they go. Still has the opportunity as KJ in Famous under the pressure. Round the outside through towards 3. Dralex on the inside of Hybrid as well. Couldn't quite make it do. Hybrid tries to find a way past KJ. He can't as well. Meanwhile, all rounder finds a way past Dralex in the end. Falls out of turn 3 and down towards turn 4. Disaster for him. He's down to 6th and all rounder up into 5th. Josh, further down, it looked like carnage.
There was a bit of carnage. Matt 2-on-2 going into the first corner, had a bit of a spin, managed to save it though. And then right at the back is Redemption, who going into turn number 3 in the end, he just lost the back end and was all over the place. Still got moves going on. LK and Sig Jig swapping a little bit of argy-bargy between the two of them, but overall they've come out okay. It's a long race, you know, they've got to remember that. We don't want any carnage starting things out, which so far we haven't lost anyone, which is always a good sign.
It's always a good start to a league. We don't lose anyone so far. Meanwhile, Jinx goes straight back at Blazer Guns because Blazer Guns on the mediums. And in comparison to Jinx's soft, it should be a straight up move for him and does go through. But up towards the front, it's remained the same with the top 4. But all rounder got ahead of John and ahead of Dralex in the first lap. A great start for him up into P5 for Tech 10. But up towards, well, the leaders, it's still Shizou in first and third. And VSR now down to second and 6th, but it's still okay for them. You thought that maybe KJ had an opportunity to get past Infamous, but Infamous was very much wise to that hour 2. Immediate time penalty coming in for Jax White. That was very early for the Toro Rosso, and it's not unheard of as a time penalty around here.
We've got a spinner.
There's where you can do it. Oh, Blazer Guns has lost it. That was he was having a good start as well, Josh.
He did. He made up, I think, about 5 positions. Smithson was come back, and I didn't see exactly what happens going into turn 2, but it does look like the Force India, well, the Livid Racing pink team, as we should say, did sadly lose it, but he's only 5 seconds off his teammate. Again, long old race. You can get back into it. You just got to believe.
Yeah, now we should mention a really not a good start for one side of the BMG camp. Logic Gamer, I believe he lost him in between qualifying and race, and he rejoined, but it wasn't quick enough to jump in his car for the race. We only have one BMG car on the grid. That is Hybrid. He's currently holding on to P4, but for how long? Because the all-rounder is closing up towards him. Meanwhile, Matt 2-on-2 has gone out of the session, out of turn 12. A big crash into the left-hand side, into the wall there, and that's not a good start at all for Team LCR. That's the first DNF for the ERC, and that's not the right way to do it, Josh. Out of turn 12 is very, very likely.
It's very slippery, isn't it? From what I know, at least from racing it, it's, you know, you carry so much speed in order to, you know, just keep that momentum going that you can easily lose it, and especially if you're battling. As we do have our first pit stop coming in. Hamilton in the Toro Rosso. I think he started on the medium, so it's going to be interesting. Is he going to try and jump straight onto the hards, maybe? I think it is a front wing change, yes. And he is going on the hard set of tyres. So is he going to try and go straight to the end?
I believe he can, because the tyre wear on the hards is not particularly something that people too much notice. Of course, major strategy around here is the soft to medium straight up, but if you can go onto the hards, you can take it to the end, just do a nice long fluid one in this one. But meanwhile, we've got a bit of a sort of battle forming here for P4, because all round in these first laps is flying on them softs and closing right up towards Hybrid at the moment. These two guys really want to put on a good first impression for their team. Amaze cutting down in 9th. We haven't got Logic Gamer, so it's all on Hybrid to bring on the points for BMG. Out at turn 12, both get DRS, of course, and down towards turn 13. This could be a good opportunity for either of them to get a good start. Hybrid, though, however, doing his best to try and stick to the back of KJ, and that's really what's keeping many drivers in this battle, is just DRS trains. But so far, KJ has sort of let the top 2 go, really, because, you know, we're 2 seconds back now, Josh, already. All-rounders dropped it out of the last corner. That's not good news at all for him. Here comes Dralex. The Canadian closes up on the German, goes to the outside line, under the brakes at turn 1. Who's going to hold their nerve? Both got DRS and both going to again out of turn 2, down to turn 3, out of 2. In the end, Dralex takes full opportunity, but for how long the 16 could be enough for a comeback opportunity for all-rounder. Goes to the outside line, darts around the outside to the Tech 10 man, again gets the car in a sort of sideways position, but past he goes into P5. Good move for Dralex, back where he once qualified.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, all me have to watch out for. Not me, all-rounder. Got to keep an eye out for St. John. Just by managed to make up about 2 seconds during that little battle. So he's only 3 attempts behind. Critchy just second behind. Will get that DRS, obviously, if he can stay within the time frame. And this is going to be, I think, the key bit for John. If he can make a bit of time here, just try and sit behind all-rounder, and then potentially going onto the main DRS straight at the start finish, then potentially could get up to 6th. And then obviously Dralex isn't that far up the road as well. Make your way up to P5, just slowly, as we have got a battle going on with Amaze and Jack, who are scrapping away back and forth between the two of them. Neither of them want to give in and just, you know, relax a little bit early on, boys. You know, like we've said, take it chill. You know, we don't want to see any incidents.
Simultaneously, John has got past all-rounder into 6th. So into P6 goes the Sync Motorsport lad. Kind of did a good job for them, getting himself into the 8 points at the moment, and now all-rounder back where they want to qualify. So now, as you can see, the top 7 have not changed position since they started this Grand Prix. So it's back to where we once were, but with the DRS wide open for already, does go to the inside under the brakes at turn 3. Not close enough on this time round, but meanwhile, Infamous is keeping Leopard really under Kosh here, just under 4/10 between the two. Good opportunity here for him to sort of really upset the system, because Leopard was rather hoping that KJ would potentially give Infamous a pretty hard start, and then he could sell off in the distance, but it's not been the case.
Yeah, it looks like now all-rounder going in on the inside. Will he be able to make the move stick? It's going to be tight there. He's pushed him out a little bit, nothing too bad. He did pick up his 3-second time penalty. We should say, oh boys, please don't go too wide here.
Not turn
no. Okay, he's backed off. He's fine. Not into 11 and 12. But he's got a great run there, all-rounder. He's got the speed on him. He's going to try and go to the inside, nearly on the grass. He thinks it's rally. He's got the inside line, and easy. Does it potentially or not? John's back up in. Keep an eye on Critchley. He's now sitting behind, probably licking his lips a bit.
Whoa, a ghost.
There we go. We're all right. They're still side by side though. Who's got it? Oh God, Critchley's now on the outside. Oh, this could have. Oh, all-rounders clipped it.
Oh, front wing flop. That was all-rounders front wing. That's disaster. And now here comes Critchley. Could this be the double move that he's been wanting? Down the inside goes the AMS lad, down to 1. He can't quite get past all-rounder, but the good run out of 2 will surely mean he does. And what an opportunist move that is. AMS Critchley going from 8th to 6th in the space of a few corners now. All-rounders touch the back of him through 3, but surely he's going to hold the position. Yes, he does. And under the helicopter cam, that was simply extravagant driving.
Yeah, we also had a little battle behind them with Jack and Amaze. They just keep going at it. And then, we've actually got John, who's just gone back past All-Round. Obviously, All-Round does have damage, so that is going to affect him. Depends on his strategy, obviously, what he's going to do. Is he going to dive into the pit, go on the hards like Hamilton has, or is he going to try and stick it out? You know, he doesn't seem to be struggling that much. He may lose a bit of time as, you know, as the race goes on. Jack is now 1.1 behind. It was about 2 seconds, as we do have another retirement.
Guns. Oh, it's such a shame for the reserve man. The man that was looking to try and make an impact for Libid Racing has gone out, and we're down into 17 in this one. We lost 2 drivers in the early stages. Meanwhile, into the pits comes VSR Infamous.
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting. Does he have damage? Not that I can see. He's got to be going on the hards, unless he's going to do a 2-stop. No, it is
the hard.
It is the hards.
And all-rounder in as well, so he's going to do the same thing, I suspect. With a front wing change for him, so it'll be an elongated stop. But yeah, Infamous going to go for the hard tyres. As past goes a lot of the drivers. What about Ginger? Is he going to come out just ahead of him? He should do. Libid Racing Silver Team doing the best, currently holding on to what is currently 11th from 13th as Ginger nearly drops it out of turn 2. But Infamous does come out in clean air, which is crucial for him. I think all-rounders should come out in plenty of air as well. He is a good few seconds clear momentum Hamilton, and does, so he can get the hammer down as well. But yeah, different strategy being called here by the VSR lad, but you never know. You know, the first few laps could be a crucial undercut for him, and then get the elbows out and a bit of a defence in the final stint.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on Hamilton, to be fair. Obviously, he had damage early on, which is why he pit. So I was, interested to see the timings, because, if he was right on the back of all-rounder, then when everyone else pits, he's going to be looking at about 8th or so. But, he's still like 6 seconds away, so he's going to have to keep putting in some good lap times and hope that the battling carries on, so everyone else loses time, just to try and help out his race a little bit. But there is a battle
KJ's in.
Potentially going to be happening with Critchley and John.
Bossman came in, has walked in the wall. Sorry, I Am Hybrid has missed the pit lane because he didn't want to pit. KJ darted it in, and out of the final corner, got an absolutely dire exit and went straight into the wall on the right and has front wing damage. That's disaster. Femi sat in P4 when all the pit stops were coming into play. KJ's now coming in. He's going to have loads of clean air in the end when he does actually. All the pit stops come in. Dralex has come in as well, both doing the hard compound tyres. Redemption is going to come out ahead of KJ, which is not good news at all for him. And that means now there's a car between himself and Infamous. Out of the pits comes Dralex in P11, clear of Sink Jinx. Amazed out ahead of Snifson. It's all kicking off, but the crucial fact is that after all of this, you know, Hybrid's now got a pit because he's got a damaged front wing, and Leopard is still the only really one of the leaders yet to pit.
And look at that gap between Hybrid and Leopard. Obviously, in between that, you have got Infamous and KJ. As Infamous.
Oh, Infamous is off.
Is he off?
I think he went for a move on Hassler.
Has he got damage?
Through turn. I don't think so. Through,
no, I don't think.
Through 9 and 10. He went for the. He obviously tried to dart it on the inside of Hassler and just got it all kinds of wrong. It was onto the grass. That's not good news at all for him because, remember rightly, when he pit, Josh was right on the back of him.
Yeah, he was. It's, you know, not what he's looking for, is it? Especially on the hunt for Leopard. You know, Leopard's probably liking this, to be fair, and maybe he's actually pulled out the better strategy, as we do have Hybrid and Critch coming in and Jack as well. So still Leopard stays out, along with Sink John, and then the Mercedes as well has decided to.
So is this going to be the race of split strategies? You know, are we going to see these drivers go on to the mediums and do what I thought, to be honest with you, was the right strategy? But maybe I don't know anything. Because now they're trying to do this strategy and it could work out. Meanwhile, KJ's got the traffic of redemption up ahead, out of 2, great exit for him, and it's going to go to the inside. Meanwhile, almost simultaneously, Hassler gets passed by Veersar and Famous, and KJ, as I have missed that, does pass redemption, because I tried to find it and I couldn't quite get the finger on the pulse. But into 5th goes KJ, into 3rd goes Infamous, and they're through the traffic, and that's a crucial thing, especially with a full grid. Meanwhile, the 2 Tech 10 lads, I think the swap positions, all round are now ahead of the Maze.
Yeah, maybe it's a, you know, they're probably talking to each other, and I'm guessing all-rounder is just saying, look, I've got a bit more pace, maybe. He has come in, hasn't he, I believe? We did see him come in because he had the damage. Yes, yeah, he did. Yep. Better
Leopard
to check, isn't it?
Is
he still?
Leopard has stayed up for another lap, so he's going to complete lap 10 on this set of tyres, so it's clear that he is trying to do the soft medium strategy, which, like I said, I thought was the preferred strategy, but again, what do I know? And now we have to wait and see how this is going to play out, because the gap, despite the fact Infamous mistake, the gap is still 22 seconds between the two, so it could be really tight when he does pit. If he is going to pit, I suspect it probably is going to be either this lap or the next lap. In fact, his pit light is on to indicate that he might come in, Josh, and you know, he's done a hefty stint on that tyres, as has John as well, so he could be a potential late charger in this race.
Yeah, one thing I do want to point out to everyone is that the fastest lap point is allowed in the league. Currently, it is held by Leopard, and I mean, most likely, unless someone, you know, with a couple of laps to go decides just to pit and, you know, is within that top 10 to take it away, looks like Leopard, if he, you know, will get that extra point as well, and if he wins, a bit of a bonus, a little bit of oversteer, I think, from John, but nothing too serious from the Alpha man.
Yes, Dralex just passed Ginger Ninja. Ginger way too late into turn 6, and Dralex said, right, thank you very much, and took P7 away from them. Of course, they're on different strategies anyway. Leopard comes in, race leader pits on lap 10 of 29, and let's see what tyres it's going to be for. Of course, Williams right at the end of the pit boxes, so he's got to wait a long time, sitting at 37 miles an hour, before eventually he does reach the pit box for them. Meanwhile, KJ now right towards the back of Hassler in the Liver Rayson Silver team. Into the pits comes the Williams, and it is medium tyres, and St. John coming in, so he'll probably do the same.
I think Infamous is going to get him. Sorry to butt in, but I think Infamous is going to get past him, or it's going to be close. No, he is. Infamous is past.
Well, now we're going to fight, because now Leopard is going to have to get past Infamous. This just got really interesting.
Where's John coming out? He is still dropping. I think he's still in the points. He has, yes.
Always got time for
it. That's not what you want, is it? That is not what you want.
Good run from Jax though. Will he try an opportunity? He does look to potentially try and sort of spook John, but John was very much wise that, and now he can get the hammer down on that set of medium tyres. But up towards the other medium runner, Suzu Leopard has now got to find a way past Infamous, and let's face it, Infamous is not going to let him go easy.
No, we have got a bit of a train forming, actually, down by P9. John, Jack, Hybrid, and myself Uh, all in a little bit of a tangle, and obviously with the two Tech 10 boys swapping positions, we should say that there is nearly a 2-second gap now between them. So obviously they did make the right call, and all-rounder has got into the midst of it here with this, you know, potential little battle. He's got a good run on hybrid. He's nailing this corner, I've noticed, throughout the race, and he is going on the inside of the McLaren. He doesn't seem to have enough to get him, but he does. He is going for the move.
Oh.
Can he make it stick? They're still side by side. No one's coming out front. On the inside now, what can the McLaren do? He's got past, but I don't know who was in front for the detection zone for DRS. Because if the McLaren's got it, which he does, he could be bringing a... Oh no, it wasn't.
No,
it was
yeah,
all-rounder.
no, it's all-rounder, yeah. All-rounder has
all-rounder,
the DRS.
well,
that's crucial
that's
when
what
we
he
get
wants.
hammered out. And the unbelievable thing to say is those two originally battling for P4 before the pit stops came in, and of course they both picked up front wing damage, which was not ideal, but that's where they once were. So it shows what could have been really, but we're not even hit halfway yet, and now we have the crucial fact of Leopard is under a second behind Infamous, so it could be a matter of moments before he finds a way past and gets himself back into that race lead and can really begin to hunker down is the word I'm going to use. To get himself into the race lead. Infamous is not going to let him go easy, so it could be a matter of really getting the elbows out. And the ERS consumption as well, by the way, is a lot more in favour of Infamous. You've got, as you can see, Leopard got about 37%, and then on the side of Infamous, 60 plus. So good work from him. Meanwhile, Critchley gets past Ginger Ninja with ease. Of course, the two of Livid Racing in silver and pink on different strategies, starting on the medium tyres. But Josh, now it's Leopard's turn to find a way past Infamous. Coming down to turn 1, he did set the fastest lap, not close enough for turn 1. Good exit out of 2, down to 3. Good opportunity to take it away. Gets the DRS open. Infamous goes to the inside. Leopard forced to pick the outside. Round the outside goes Yazoo Leopard. Down to turn 3. Has he got the nerve to try and hold it? Squeezed onto the curb. Through towards 4. And Infamous holds it for just about through this section of corners. Out of 5 though. This is a good run from Leopard. Down towards turn 6. He's pretty much pushing Infamous through. Down to 6. Again goes to the outside. Not close enough on this time round. And the first real ring of the bell goes to Infamous. Good defence.
Yeah, managed to hold out. Infamous is in a bit of a spot right now, because if he holds Leopard up, he's got his teammate of KJ behind him, which out of everyone you want behind, you don't want their teammate. You know, he's going to have to, he's going to have to try his best, isn't he? He's a little bit slidey. It's always so treacherous, isn't it? There's another move further down. John has got past Ninja, but looks like Ninja's going back up, but jumping back towards the battle for first with Leopard. I think this next straight...
They're going side by side for 11 and 12.
Oh Lord.
My God.
Okay.
Ninja somehow held him off. They're not even on the same strategy, don't forget. Now John going to go to the inside down to 13. Almost simultaneously, Critchley gets past Redemption. And in the end, Ninja has no choice but to back out. Meanwhile, there's been a collision and it's at the slippery corner, Josh. Turn 12 plays another victim.
No, he's bailed. He's all on the back of him. He's all on the back of him, going up to turn 3.
This could be the opportunity Leopard needs to take the race lead. Once again, Infamous breaks as late as he possibly can. And Leopard, once again, can't find the way past. And it's another potential opportunity gone for Yazoo Leopard through towards turn 5. And he's still right on the back of him. Still not close enough. And once again, Infamous holds it.
Yeah, deja vu, isn't it? But we may have just jinxed that. Leopard is on the back of him. He's now going to try and go on the outside, maybe go for a little bit of a switch back, get the corner with it, which he has done. He's now switching back to the inside. Oh no, not here, boys, not here. Who's going to bail? I think Leopard's just about going. Oh, a little bit of contact.
Oh, that was a
little bit of contact. I think Infamous may have a better run here. He's got the DRS on Leopard. Is he going to try and fight back after that cheeky move? He's going to be forced to go on the outside. And he is being forced there. All that is getting close between the wheels. Leopard is parking the bus here. He doesn't want him past. Leopard's like, I want this lead. I want to just be able to go with it. And Infamous is not going to allow that.
Great move by the pair of them. And now they've got to go at it once again. But of course the DRS and of course the tyre advantage in favour of Leopard. Could this be his opportunity to get away through towards 1 and 2? And It's a good exit out of 2, and of course with the advantage of the tyres, it's just what the Shizou driver needs to get away in these conditions. Meanwhile, his teammate is closing up towards Hassler and getting himself in a P4 currently. As a treat at the top coming for Dralex, that's not going to help his cause. And John now gets past Redemption, and here comes Dralex on Hassler towards 3. He's not close enough for a lunge in that position. Meanwhile, All-Rounder into the pits for a set of medium tyres. Has he clipped the wall somewhere and forced himself into making an extra pit stop? Hassler drops it out of turn 4, and Dralex files on past. I don't know if Hassler picked up from him, he might have done from that. That's not good news at all for Liver Racing Silver driver. And now surely, well, as you can see, Josh, our 2 favourites, VSR and Shizou, occupy the top 4 spots.
Yeah, a bit of a battle going on, as we have just had the retirement. What I was going to say is, I don't know what's happened to the, just out of turn 2, he spun for the Sync Jinx, but no, the 2 Tech 10 boys, they've both pitted, and they're, well, they're last at the moment, not where they want to be, you know, to say the least. So something's obviously happened there, as we do have yellow flags all over the place. I don't know if that still was for Jinx potentially.
I think it was, and now here's the crucial fact. Famous has the DRS, but he's got out a second as late, and goes fast as 23.8 set by the Williams. So could it be a perfect 26 points to begin the season for him? There's still 13 laps to go for someone to dethrone him from that, but currently it's like no one's going to get close enough just yet. Meanwhile, the late charger, the Sync Motorsport driver of Sync John on the medium tyres, of course, done the same strategy as Leopard, is now 1.5 seconds behind AMS Critchley ahead, and you know he's only then got another 4 seconds or so, and he's on the back of Dralex, so he could upset the system here of this VSR and Shizou lot.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I mean, strategy, like we were saying at the beginning, is going to be key here, and as long as you can put in them laps, obviously we've still got the Mercedes of Hassler to pit, and then along with, we've got a couple more pitters, don't we? Redemption and obviously, well, the Livid boys, yeah, Redemption, and then Ninja as well still need to pit, which is gonna bump up a couple more positions there. Oh, Critchy out of turn 10, a little bit of a spin, but managed to keep it under control.
It's not ideal when you're trying to close up to a car and also trying to keep the gap behind you to a minimum. The Welsh driver doing a good job for MS Motorsport. His teammate currently down in 12th, of course. You know, it's a normal point scoring season in this league. There's no special points because it's all team based. It's still the exact same scenario where 25 points will bring you home the race victory and 1 point for the fastest lap inside the top 10. And currently Leopard on to do that. But 17 under 29, and Hassler has got another car to deal with in terms of traffic. Next up is AMS Critchley, and given the fact of what we've seen so far, the 2 that could really knock on the door of these menacing big 2, if you will, of this league that have currently been on display is Critchley and John, and as is the hybrid, and there's a lot of drivers out there that could cause something, but here goes Critchley to the inside line of Hassler, and a fairly easy move through towards 3. And I suspect Hassler might be coming in any lap now if he's going to get on them softs, and almost simultaneously hybrid passes the other Livid Racing team to get himself into 9th. It's still not been an all bad day for Bossman Gaming and for Sync. They're still going to currently on to score some solid points. As you
that's all you can ask. I do. Yeah, no, look, that's why I was quiet. Just wanted to make sure I got that fastest lap. Not going to make a difference to me. You know, not going to get the point, but it takes away a point from Leopard, so I suppose in that view it does help out in one way or another, doesn't it?
Very good point. Yeah, it's a very interesting point. Meanwhile, Smithson passes Ninja, who's still on that medium tyres. Smithson now into 11th. In fact, actually, Smithson will get into 10th. So they are on for a double point scoring finish, which is a good start to the season regarding where AMS is concerned. But John is still potentially going to cause havoc for Critchley in the closing laps as John now trying to go to the inside line at the penultimate corner. And I suspect Hassler's not going to exactly let him off too easy. He's going to let him off on the DRS, I'm sure. But now down to 1, goes to the inside. Hassler leaving very much in the middle of the track, and the Alpha forced to do it the harder way, and he does sail on past as the 2 other Livid Racing drivers, Redemption and Ninja, pit on this lap. So I suspect Hassler to come in next lap. Which now means the only driver that's left to change position is Hassler. Will promote LK into the points and Smithson into 2 points as well. So still far end of the points, there's still plenty of goings on, but there's a yellow flag in sector 3. And what's that for Amazed?
I'm not going to assume anything because I did not see it, but I'm going to guess so. Going back to Ninja Load the pit, did have a bit of moment coming out of 12, a little bit, and he just lost it basically. Nothing too bad, but after I saw that, I thought he's probably going to come into the pits now and put on the softs and try and make a bit of a charge. Which we've got some laps still to go. What about you're looking about 10 or 11 laps on these softs, fresh time. Is Amazed is out of the session.
Amazed.
Did not see what
down. I think he's retired in the pits because I can hear the pit crews working on a car. Yeah, I can see a Renault in the pit box, so he has actually retired in the pits. So that's the end of the session for one of the two Tech 10 lads, which means we're now only down to one of them. We've so far lost Amaze, Jinx, Blazer Guns, Matt 212, and unfortunately, Logic Gamer didn't even get to see the beginning of the race. There's a yellow flag in sector 1 here.
I think that's for Amaze.
Josh as Hassler comes in. Yeah, I think that is. And into the pits comes Hassler now, the leading of the Living Racing lot, and onto the softs he goes. Doesn't have a front wing change either, which now means we officially have the positions in which everyone is going to be in when he does come out of the pits, as LK goes past him into 10th. So as you can see, currently double points finishes on for Shizou and VSR, and currently AMS as well. Everyone only on for 1 point scorer at the moment, but still we've got just under 10 laps to go, Josh, so anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's the beauty, isn't it, of F1? You just don't know what is going to happen, and the suspense, that's all it is really. And it's just a nice thing, isn't it? There's no predictability whatsoever, because you're looking at it now and you think, all right, Leopard, he's going to go on, maybe win, but you don't know that, do you? It's not guaranteed, and it's all part of the fun. Same with Infamous, KJ and Drelex. Obviously, in terms of the teams being VSR and Shizou, currently they're all on for a nice amount of points, but it could change. All it takes is a little bit of a spin, and if KJ spins, Drelex is all over the back of him then, and there's so many possibilities which could happen, and we're just here for the ride, aren't we?
Another possibility is time penalties. Let's have a look at them. Whilst we're here on lap 20 with a bit of a calm moment. So Leopard does actually have a time penalty. Infamous also has one himself, so 3 seconds each. KJ has a 5-second penalty. I presume that's for speeding in the pit lane. As Dralex has one himself, so there's actually 2 seconds between them. 1 time penalty for Critchley and 1 for John. Jack has 2, and I Am Hybrid has a penalty himself. AMS Smithson also has 1, and LK has 3 at the moment, so not a good thing for the Team LCR lad. But everyone inside the top 10, Josh, all has a time penalty. The one doesn't actually have one for corner cutting is KJ. So
yeah,
we've mentioned that it is a crucial track for corner cutting, but a lot of drivers have done it.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite a cool little stat. Probably not for LK, but from lap 1 to lap 5, he went with a warning on every single one. So I don't know how he managed that, and actually he got 2 penalties on lap 4. So a bit of interesting stats for you all, because I don't know how you can manage to do that, but he has done anyway. Not the best stat you want to point out for a driver, and we have got another time penalty coming in now for the Mercedes of Ninja.
Yeah, battle beginning to form here, however. P7, Jax against Hybrid. Bossman Gaming versus Team Mentalism. Of course, the French-based team, in fact, is Team Mentalism, so good to see them waving the flag at the moment. Currently, Jax is under pressure, and DRS open for Bossman Gaming. I'm sure, on a recovery drive, I'm sure Hybrid would take 7th in the end, because that would be a rather good comeback, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, you can't really moan, can you, to be fair? Especially as he's the only one on track for them, with what happened to GLC Gamer. Such a shame, obviously, for him on the first race of the season, as track's a bit of a curve. As I am out.
No. Oh, Josh. Sorry, I got you talking too much.
You did.
Yeah. So in professional term, all-rounder is out. We've lost both Tech 10 lads, which is actually the first team that we've lost both drivers for. So that's not a good stat for them. So we've now lost both of them. We still have at least one team member for everyone else, but no more for Tech 10. They are the first to lose both of their tributes in the ERC Hunger Games. But still, the show goes on, and currently we're still watching Hybrid try and close down Jax, but Jax has sort of turned it up ever since he got in that DRS.
Yeah, definitely. Look at the gaps forming. If you look towards the top,
which is just crazy to think, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Infamous KJ, and then KJ to Dradex as well. Oh, Jack's a little bit of a spin there. That's not what you want to happen before the DRS, and the ERS kicks in for Hybrid. He doesn't look like he's not going to be able to get much, is he, just now? Maybe going onto the second DRS zone, he will. All depends on the exit. Look at us, just ooh ah. It's literally.
I was on board with him. Sorry, and I just noticed it was a bit of a correction for Hybrid. So it wasn't the perfect one, but still it was good enough to get him ever closer to Jax. Currently, those two are on a bit of a good scrap for P7. But yeah, you're talking about gaps, you know, and you wouldn't quite believe it, given what we've seen in qualifying, how big the gaps have got as the race has gone on. But again, Jack's been a bit deep out of turn 6 and down to turns 9 and 10. There's a good opportunity here for Hybrid to have a go through towards this section. Jack's quite car on another track, which is going to give it a good exit here out of 10 for Hybrid. But I suspect they'll probably wait for 11 and 12 and then have them down at DRS at 13. It's all about the exit here. Jax has been phenomenal on his exits through this section so far, I have noticed. Is he going to have another one like that? Yes, he does, because he really attacks the curves and really takes advantage. So Jax is going to remain P7. But, Josh, the straight line speed of turn 1 and then turn 3 could be the opportunity for him.
Yeah, it really could, and we are about to see that. Obviously, he's going to have DRS because he is in the window. Will Jack lose it coming into the final corner now? You know, compared to last time, he didn't. He's got a better exit. Again, Hybrid, he's quite far away still, but you know, I think he's pumping that ARS and he's got the DRS, so he is going to be closing just a bit. It's just towards actually the end of corner there. He did carry quite a lot of speed, so let's try now. Just after turn 2, going up to turn 3. Again, still got a DRS, and he is getting quite a lot.
He's closing up.
Okay, I thought he was going to go for the move, but he didn't. But maybe next lap he will, if this sort of gap stays, because yeah, he did. What I did notice in both of them sections, going into towards turn 1 and turn 3, he got a hell of a lot of speed. I don't know where it came from, but his engine
I
just
think
went.
Jax
You know
might have
what?
put it into none just to potentially conserve. But up towards the front, Josh, and the gap between Leopard and Famous has come down a bit. Of course, you know, Leopard on the mediums, which was
little spin. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. Out of turn 10, that's not good news at all for him. But yeah, Leopard, of course, on the mediums, which does mean his tyres are going to wear quicker than Infamous's hards. I'm sure Infamous not going to have any issue at all with tyre wear, but Leopard could. You know, he's going to have to cross about lap 18, lap 19, and we saw the medium runners that started the race pit about lap 17, 16. So, you know, in terms of them, it could be, you know, Infamous is not out of this just yet, because if them tyres do continue to wear and Infamous keeps up the pace, there is still a chance he can close up.
Yeah, definitely. Back on board though with the BMG driver of Hybrid. Again, we're back on the start finish straight, and I think this time he is going to be too far back. But we saw how much speed he got. Again there, just towards the end he just picked up so much. So will we see it again here going into turn 3? I don't think so. That is like Daniel Ricciardo-esque, isn't it? With that sort of gap. You could imagine him trying to go for that sort of move.
No, let's be honest with you. That's past the Maldonado.
That is, yeah.
That would be. Let's be real here. Gap. Oh, it's Momentum and Hamilton. Sorry, has gone out of the session, and that is actually down at turn. How have you managed?
I don't know. That's a weird spot.
That is a unique position to crash. Now, I don't mean to say it, but if one more driver crashes, of course, in closing laps, one of the Livid Racing boys could actually score a point. And given the fact we saw them occupy the second from last and the last row of the grid, that would feel kind of special, I think.
I mean, for them, I think it definitely will. You know, obviously we don't want to commentators curse it. We don't know if it exists, truly. We've got people looking into it, trying to work out if it does exist. I'm going to jump towards the front, actually. 2.3 now, Leopard and Infamous. 4 laps to go.
It's coming down, isn't it?
Maybe, last lap. Down. As we have Redemption.
Oh,
you've jinxed
Redemption.
it. You've jinxed it.
Safety car. Safety car is deployed.
Oh my. Well then.
With just 5 laps to go, the safety car has been called into action.
Is there anyone near the pit?
They might do.
I don't think. No, wait, the only one would be Ninja. He's not pitting though. The Mercedes, who's last?
No, he's on softs because, of course,
Oh,
he
he
has
is,
to.
yeah.
But what about the leaders? What are they going to do? You know, they could suddenly decide, you know what, it's time to pit. Because, of course,
wow.
you know, they don't want to be caught out in the closing laps. The safety car is such a rare occurrence in Formula One games these days, but we have one here in the closing laps of the inaugural race of the ERC, and we're going to see what the leaders do. Let's see, is Leopard going to pit?
He is.
Leopard is
What
coming
about Famous?
into the pit.
He is as well. Oh, here we go. This is it. We want about gaps, but I mean, you know, this is it now. I'm guessing they're going to go on sauce, but what about
They must
KJ?
do.
I mean, KJ's going to have to, isn't he? If he's going to want to stand a chance. Yeah, KJ is going in as well.
Oh my!
Here we go,
goodness
mate.
me.
Here we
As
go.
out of the pits comes Leopard and Infamous on the soft compound tyres. You could not quite script this in the closing laps. It looked like we could have a hell of a dogfight for the race win of the first ever
John stayed out.
ERC racing here in Australia. John has opted to stay out on his mediums, which will mean he will jump ahead of everyone into P3. Could that be the strategy call of all strategy calls? We can defend, because don't forget, we've only got 4 laps to go. Everyone's going to close up to the safety car, and we'll only have about 3 laps, even 2, left to race. That could be the call, you know.
He's going to have to get his elbows out, isn't he? As actually, I think the Mercedes, obviously, yeah, the Mercedes are staying out as well, who are going to jump some positions here as well.
Oh, it could.
We were all
it could
about
happen.
points,
Limit racing
and a
could score
retirement
points.
happened, and they have got into the points. One is
LK's
in
on
7th.
mediums.
Oh, okay. That's different, but you know, yeah. I mean, he's
must have
now
not
at
added a
points.
set of softs. That must
Yeah,
have
that
been
is true.
the reason for it. This is mad. I'll
This
tell you
is,
what,
isn't it? Yeah.
Josh. When I was thinking about the first round of the ERC, I was thinking, yeah, it's gonna be great racing, really action-packed race from start to finish. I did not expect the safety car on that 26 of 29 to be a potential
No.
3-lap showdown for the race win. What a way to start!
Yeah, this is going to be. I'm really actually interested to see what happens with John. The only one who hasn't pitted, in theory, obviously, you know, to get onto a pair of softs. Obviously, LK pitted for fresh mediums, but John's been on the mediums for 15 laps now. And, I mean, maybe he's hoping the safety car is just going to take him to the end. Like, the
Could
safety
you
car's just
imagine
not going to come in.
After everyone pit and St John just finishes P3 because he didn't pit. That would be absolutely. that would be
That would be
insane.
the best strategy call, wouldn't it? Obviously, everyone is still closing up in terms of the front 6, and the Mercedes has to still closing in. I think probably safety car is going to come in, I reckon, at the end of this lap, I would say. I think everyone's going to be closed up then. I'm looking
Surely
forward to
we'll get back
this.
going to racing,
It's like
because
the start again, isn't it?
It will be a 2-lap showdown for the race picture. You see these sort of 3-lap sprint lobbies that everyone does, and always say, "Oh, it's full of action," because you know everyone's bowing out because there's only 3 laps to go. What if there's 2 laps after 45 minutes worth of racing? Then what do you do? Everyone really does get their elbows out. But now, if I hate to sound pessimistic, Josh, but if you're in Famous, this safety car must have annoyed you a bit because he was bringing the gap down to Leopard.
He was. I mean, it depends. You look at it 2 ways. Does Infamous think he is quicker than Leopard on these softs? But going from the first couple of laps, he wasn't. Leopard did get past him. But, I mean, another thing we've got to think about here is everyone is going to be saving up their ERS, aren't they? They've all got 100% as well. There is no holding back here.
This is the type of thing
I think,
that
who is
you
it? Smithson's
dream about.
just doing up now. So this should
So
be
surely the VSC, the safety car will come up with the display that says it's coming this lap at the end of this straight. We'll wait for official confirmation, because imagine if it doesn't and we have like a final lap. Nope.
There we go.
It's coming in. The light has gone out. Leopard slows the field down. Infamous versus Leopard. It's been the story so far of Australia, and now they've got 1 lap to go. 5-second penalty for Jack Splitty for hitting the back of Hasser, and hits him again. More front wing flies off the Toro Rosso. That's going to be a disaster. Another time penalty for him for another collision. No idea what's happened there. We get ready for 2 laps of flat out racing to put it into perspective, ladies and gentlemen, in these 200 plus mile an hour machines, we've got 6.4 miles left to be driven in a 200 mile an hour plus machine for the race win. Leopard backs the field up as much as possible. He's going to pick his moment to go. Infamous is not letting him have an inch, but through goes Leopard, and back to racing we go. 2 laps to go. Who's going to come out on top? Leopard, good start. Infamous, good start. Good start from KJ. Down to turn 1. Jats goes out of the session. Down the inside goes KJ Gamer. On John, straight past. John not able to hold it. He's dropped it out of turn 2. He's managed to hold the car, but Dralex goes past. We're back toward with the top 4. Critchley now gets past as well. Down to turn 5.
Huge
crash.
The Ferrari of LK and Mercedes and Ninja going into turn 2. I think Ninja just spun and LK just hit him. He got unlucky there. That is not what they want. Luckily, they are still both in.
Yeah, we're on to lap 28 of 29. And crucially, Leopard has got 8 tenths clear of Infamous. It's just the start that he wanted in these final few laps. Infamous has to begin to watch in his mirrors because KJ is closing up. They will not have any advantage of DRS on this lap or the next lap. It's all down to pure brute force in this one. Good run out of turn 12 from KJ. In fact, probably all 3 of them got a great run because they're feeling the effects of these fresh softs. Critchley is putting Dralex under pressure here and could potentially break the system with the Shazoo versus VSR and really cause an upset for the Alien Motorsport team. They'll feel satisfied because currently both drivers in the points. Livid Racing are currently on for 2-point scorers as well. 8th and 9th for Livid Racing Silver, I should put in perspective. But on to the final lap of racing we go, and Leopard has pulled out nearly 1.3 seconds, 1.2 to be exact, clear of Infamous and sets the fastest lap. Surely it's curtains and going to be a victory, and Infamous has got a second time penalty, and let's just check just to make sure there's no more time penalties to be added on. Infamous has 2 penalties. KJ served his stop go in the pits, so he will jump it, and Josh, you predicted a Shazoo 1-2. In fact, you predicted a 1-2 full stop. We might have a Shazoo 1-2 on our hands here.
It's looking that way, isn't it? Again, we don't want to jinx it. Definitely not now. And also, what's happened? No, I think a little bit of a bug with Smithson going on there. I was about to say we've got another double finish there, but yeah, that way isn't it going to be that Shazoo 1-2?
Not a good exit at all out of turn 10 for him. Meanwhile, Hybrid gets past John, so John's strategy has not quite worked out in the way would I hope, but the BMG lad gets himself in a P6 simultaneously. Here comes Critchley down to 13. The Canadian pulls to defend for the first time all race. Around the outside goes AMS. Critchley on Dralex on the final lap in the final sector. He can't find the way past, so up towards the front we go. And surely, despite the fact that right at the end he had to fight for it, Shazoo Leopard, pole position, fastest lap, and surely the race win as well. It's P1 for Shazoo in the inaugural race, and in the end it will be a Shazoo 1-2 in the very first round, and in the end it's Infamous who beats Dralex by 100th of a second due to the time penalties being accumulated. He holds on barely. AMS Critchley comes home P5 for Alien Motorsport. Sync Motorsports John brings home P6. Hybrid, good comeback into P7. It's a double point scoring finish for Livid Racing Silver. 8th and 9th for them. Smithson comes home 10th, and it'll be LK, the lone man, to finish outside the points. And the start of the season is a 1-2 in favour of Williams, Josh.
We said it, didn't we, at the beginning, you know, as our little prediction. And then, yeah, first and second for Shazoo, and then Infamous and Dralex getting 3rd and 4th. I mean, you can't ask for much more, can you? This is going to be an incredible season, and I think we've just witnessed why.
Well, it's not often you have a league race where there's 2 laps to go and the safety car comes in and you have a straight up soft race towards the end. Leopard celebrates, as the German is pretty much used to in league racing, and it's another one in the inaugural ERC race. KJ will feel very satisfied with P2 to make it 1-2 for Williams and, of course, more importantly, Team Shazoo. And it's P3 and 4 in the end for VSR, what could have been a P2 and 4, but sadly Infamous gets a penalty on the very last lap to drop him from 2nd down to 3rd. But still, a phenomenal display from him and potential sign that Leopard is going to have to really get his elbows out if he wants to continue winning as well. And well, let's just bring up your final results screen for you, Josh, and I'll just ask you your driver of the day, please.
Oh, my driver of the day. I'm actually going to give it to I think I'm going to go. Oh, I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it? You know what? I'm going to give it to two people. The Mercedes. They've got a bit lucky towards the end. However, to be able to get the points finishes after what looks like to be quite a poor little session, they've done well there.
They have indeed. Now, of course, we're going to bring the drivers in to give us their thoughts after that Grand Prix. We have one in. Hopefully, should get the other two very shortly as well. Yep, there is Infamous, and just waiting for Shazoo Leopard as well to round out the top three. And I'm going to give my driver of the day. I think I'm going to give mine to... let's go Critchley. Fifth in the end from P9. Good display from the MS lad. Took advantage of the fact that he pit for softs and really got his elbows out. Fair play as well to Hybrid. Good recovery after the front wing damage. And as mentioned, of course, we've got to say well done to the top three in the end. And of course, Drelix on a very consistent, I would say, P4. But we're just still waiting for Leopard to come in. So I'll tell you what, because he's decided... no, forget it. There he is. We'll do it in the right order this time. Anyway, so we have all three drivers in to give us their thoughts on this one. And of course, we'll start with the race winner, then go to second, and then go to third. So, Leopard, we'll start off with you. Of course, me and you used to speaking after races usually. But now here in the RC, it's the inaugural win for you. But you really had to fight for it in the end. Probably a little too much than you would have liked.
Yeah, that was a bit tougher than I'd have liked. As ever, as you know, the plan for me was just to, as soon as I got a pole, just check out and win the race pretty much. That never happened. Never really produced the pace I should have. So yeah, Infamous was just in my DRS for the soft stint. And then obviously he went for the soft to hard strat, so he got the undercut. But I knew I'd be able to reel him in on the mediums and, breeze away once I passed him. We had a decent battle, I think, hopefully. And yeah, then I managed to pull a good 4 seconds to him, tried to control the mediums, and then he started to reel me in. Then the safety car came out, and I was thinking, at first I thought, this is not good, this is not what I wanted. KJ thought the exact same. But in the end, after a bit of thinking, I was like, oh hang on, no, this has worked perfectly for the pair of us, especially for KJ. He's managed to get P2 out of it, and whilst having a stop car under safety car, so... Yeah, got the 3 seconds to KJ in the final 2 laps, and happy to take the win, and a 1-2 for Team Shazoo.
Well, that indeed it was, and again, the early stages of the league look to be implying a Shazoo versus VSR. But is there any other teams that you're looking at the grid so far, that you are thinking they had a tough day and they could bounce back to challenge you top two? Is there anyone in particular you're looking at?
Anyone I'm looking at? I mean, I think it's fair to say it's the 2 VSR guys, Infamous and Drelex. I think they're the 2. Maze as well on a good day. Yeah, I think those 2 or 3, I reckon, will be the ones to challenge us.
Well, yeah, of course, and talking to you about next week, it's the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai. Your thoughts on the circuit? You got to be looking for another win after a fairly okay one.
Oh no. Sure, we'll try and repeat that. I doubt it. This is China.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And there we have it, the race winner giving us his thoughts. So moves it along to the man that backed up a Shazoo 1-2, a man that, of course, similar to Leopard, I am used to interviewing every single week. KJ, a good way to start off the season, but in the end, it looked to be P3 right up until the closing laps, and suddenly it was 18 points.
Yeah, well, Leopard summed it up perfectly. I mean, I didn't really have the pace. Well, I didn't have the pace for the top 2, clearly. But I was certainly for P3. I was putting away from Jalix, so even though I had the stop go, which is silly of me to get, I was still safe to him. And then when the safety car came out, I was just like, oh no, thinking I couldn't serve. I thought you couldn't serve it under safety car, and so I thought, okay, I'm just going to drop back when the race finishes because everyone's now closed up. But it turns out you can serve it under safety car, and because the fact I didn't have a penalty meant I was actually the net leader. So I was suddenly like, oh my god. But then, yeah, couldn't quite hold on the 3 seconds because obviously Leopard's very quick. But I managed to get in for some penalties, so to take the 1-2, I'm very happy.
And of course, in the open laps, you were put a bit under pressure from cars behind. There's plenty of talented drivers on this grid. Is there, anyone particularly you're looking out for to challenge yourself and VSR in the opening round?
Yeah, I saw. I think it was IMX Hybrid. He was sticking with me in my DRS. I don't know what happened to him after pit stop because he dropped back massively. But yeah, he seemed to have very similar pace to me, as well as normally Drelix and the top 2. ESR Maze, all rounder. I think they didn't have a great race today, but they're always up there.
Yeah, and again, final question for you: the Chinese Grand Prix next week. Your thoughts on the Shanghai circuit? I have to say, a podium must be something you're aiming for.
Yeah, that's the main aim. This seems like Infamous and Leopard are the top 2, so if I can just be best of the rest, that's pretty good. Obviously, I got a bit lucky today with the safety car, so just try and keep up the podiums.
Well, yeah, of course, and there we have it. P2 in the Grand Prix and the second of the 1-2 for Shizou as well. Moves swiftly along to a man that probably wished he was being interviewed second, but it wasn't to be for him. VSR and Famous, first thing first, my friend, congratulations on P3. You probably feel a bit hard done by.
Yeah, I think they summed it up pretty well. Closing down Leopard after we had a pretty nice battle in the middle part of the race, bit touch and go, but I think it was all fairly clean. I was pulling him in. I think it was like 2 point whatever seconds, pulling him a few tenths a lap, and yeah, I think I knew I was pretty done once the safety car came out. My driving just wasn't, good enough today, not consistent enough, bit too scrappy. I even lost 2 seconds in the first, just after I came out in the hards, trying to get through the traffic too quickly and lost 2 seconds there. But yeah, it didn't matter in the end once the safety car came out. So take the 3rd place and hopefully do better next time out.
Well, yeah, of course, and for yourself and for Dralex, a good start to the season for VSR. And, of course, Shizou looked to be the main candidates that, could potentially be your antagonists, if you will, of the season. Anyone in particular as well you're looking at further down that, could potentially put up a fight to you top 2 in the coming rounds?
Yeah, Shizou definitely have to be the focus on our minds at VSR. They're going to be pushing us all the way, and we're going to be pushing them all the way until we try and take the lead back off them. But the Tech 10 lineup don't look too bad. On their day, they're very quick guys. I don't know what team Logic Gamer's in, but he's in the Challenger Series, so he must be pretty quick. I don't know if he raced today or not, but there's a few quick drivers scattered throughout the team. So yeah, you can never count any of these guys out. So keep on looking over our shoulders, but hopefully we'll stay ahead.
Very good point. You have to keep watching over your shoulder, and we'll have to wait and see what happens in the open rounds as well. But final question for you, of course, as asked to the other 2. Shanghai, China next week. Your thoughts on the Chinese Grand Prix? Got to be looking at trying to get a bit of redemption heading into next week.
Yeah, hopefully we can get some better luck, but Shanghai is a pretty bad track for me, but I know Leopard's not a fan either. So let's see what we can do.
Well, there we have it. All 3 of the top 3. Well done to them for grabbing the podium in the inaugural ERC race. And, well, I'll ask Josh this. Josh, any closing remarks?
Well, great race. I think that's to summarise it roughly. It was incredible to watch in the safety car at the end. That just provided even more entertainment for both me and Jack. And, well, I'm looking forward to this. This whole league. I've said it a couple of times in the race, but after today, it's going to be great, isn't it? Let's just say that. It's going to be great.
Very good point. And, well, from myself as well, that will conclude that. Thank you guys very much for support on the first round stream. It's been absolutely mega to see you cheer on your teams in the chat throughout the Grand Prix. From Shizou fans to Mentalism fans to VSR fans. Absolutely everyone was at their peak in this one. And we'll see you same time, same place next week in Shanghai to determine who's going to be the Dragon of China. Thank you guys and goodbye.